All right, so we'll kind of get rolling here in the next minute or so. Again, we'll hold on for one more minute, see if we get a couple more to join, and then we'll get started. Marissa, some people may join and drop throughout. Like I said, it's a challenging time, a day for some of us, and like I said, we're really working on growing the participation here. So we do post these and people do review them throughout the month. We also have like a Discord server and we get a lot of discussion throughout that. So I know from the email that Abigail sent, you'll be open to discussion and further engagement throughout this. So that is greatly appreciated, because that's really the main theme of this. I don't know how familiar you are with the military transition process, but one of the reasons that we started this social hour was that several of us on this call who are now working out, in the world and in our post-Marine Corps life, we realized as we went through transition, there's a little bit of an imbalance in the process to become a service member. And I'll say Marine because, we're all Marines on here, but it's true for all services. And we really want to open this up to the other services and get soldiers, sailors, airmen, Coast Guardsmen, and Guardians from the Space Force even on here. So, but that imbalance is that, when you join a service, using Marine Corps as an example, you go to boot camp for 13 weeks or OCS for 10 weeks, and then you go to a school to learn to do your job, and then you go to combat training. You can spend anywhere from a year to 2 years learning how to be a Marine and how to do your job. And whether you do 4 years or 20 years, at the back end, it's like, okay, you get a 5-day class. Good luck, right? So this platform is meant to augment that transition process and take a deep dive into some of those fire hose topics that you might get an hour or 2 hours on in that 5-day course, and say, hey, we realize that there's a lot more to this and you can't do this in 5 days. So the idea is most service members, have several months in their transition process. And so that's why we have this, kind of 6-month rotation. We go through topics, and it's the opportunity to ask questions in a safe place with other veterans that have been through it. And then bringing in subject matter experts like yourself and Joanna and Charmaine that have experience in other ways. Because the great thing about the last couple themes, we're going to talk about tonight a little bit, and what we talked about last time is, we talk about those topics like the VA and insurance and making the transition. You have to have the knowledge to do those, but you also have to recognize that those are stressful. And it becomes like a second full-time job to transition. And so these wellness topics are great because it's like, hey, let's just acknowledge that this is stressful. Let's acknowledge that you need some help and you need some support. And what can you do to make it easier on yourself? And what can you do to keep yourself in optimal health and deal with that extra stress. So really excited to hear what you've got for us tonight, and add it to our, information repository, and also add you to our network, because that's really, the biggest part of this is like, get the information and share, but having a network of trusted resources that are veteran friendly, that our people are comfortable reaching out to, and people that are comfortable talking to veterans and excited about supporting them. So thanks, Marissa, for being on. I'm going to go through our normal disclaimers real quick, and then we'll see if anybody has anything to add. Drew will always check me and make sure I didn't miss anything, and then we'll turn it over to you to get started. So thanks, everybody, for joining. I kind of gave the spiel on, why we're all here, veterans, supporting veterans, and other veteran friendly and individuals that want to help us out. So, normal disclaimer is this is not for business development or recruiting. This is not, although this is IDP resourced, and it's our passion project, this isn't for IDP's monetary benefit. This is, about helping each other out. So, again, not for business development or recruiting. And then the other disclaimer, we are recording. So this will be posted to our YouTube channel. Clips from this will be shared. It'll be on LinkedIn, and we'll also have the Discord server throughout the month. So lots of ways to stay connected, lots of ways to review the information. So if something comes up tonight, you really want to dive back into it, you can go back out, review the video, and just stay in touch with us throughout the month. We only meet once a month, but the network is open all the time, right? And so that's the biggest thing, is that the help is always there. Other than that, Drew, is there anything else that we normally cover? All right, I got the thumbs up. All right, good. All right, so then Marissa, just wanted to say thank you thank you for hopping on. It's great to have subject matter experts and people with expertise. VA is a big one. Everybody deals with the VA in different ways. So we're really excited to hear what you've got and the resources you're able to share with us. And Abigail, thank you again for making another great connection and all the great work that you've done to advance our efforts here with the social hour. It's come a long way since its inception. A lot of that great work is thanks to you and Drew. So thanks to my team and everybody else that's on. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Marissa. Thanks.
Thank you for that. So I will preface this by saying one VA is one VA, which I'm sure you guys have all heard this. So I am going to share with you local offerings that we do have, but almost every VA has incorporated whole health at this point. So they should have some aspect in each part of that transition and each part of the lifestyle as well. They should always have offerings. I am going to share my screen. We're going to go through a little PowerPoint just to get you some information, and we'll start there. Maybe. All right. So today, I just want to talk a little bit about what whole health is at the VA. We're going to go through like the journey of a veteran transition period, or just someone that hasn't came to the VA yet, has that little hesitation and how to get in. We're going to go over what's working and then some barriers we're facing as well. And then I'm going to give you resources that we have locally and online stuff that any of you can attend and get into if you'd like to. So whole health is a practice, and it is centered about what matters most to each veteran. We try and make it as personalized, proactive, patient-driven, so that we can build relationships with the veterans and their care team. We are trying to integrate and build this whole team to set up a plan for you as a whole person. So we're focused on unlocking the body's innate ability to heal itself. So things like acupuncture, massage therapy, movement classes, stuff like that, that isn't medication. Other offerings, other ways to improve your health, especially when you're coming right in from service. And we include every aspect of the person. So body, mind, spirit, and relationships that you have around you as well. So this nice wheel in front of you, that is our whole health wheel that we look at. So you are always in the center as a veteran. You know what's best for your body. You've been in it and know how it feels with different changes. So you get to tell us where you would like to go and what effect each side or component looks like to you. Around that is mindful awareness. So staying present on purpose, working with things like breath work, mindfulness, so that with all the chaos coming in and around, you can stay grounded in the moment you're in, which is hard to just think about. But it is a practice that we work on each week, each day, whatever it may be, to help make that a little bit easier on you as well. Surrounding that is 8 different areas of self-care. So we look at anything from movement. Are you able to move as much as you want if you have injuries or whatever is going on there? Your surroundings. If you have a place to be, live. If you're safe, engaged, emotionally safe in that location. Personal development. Hard transitioning. Not sure where to go from there a lot of the times. So figuring out a path forward there. Food and drink, nourishing your body the way you need to. Recharge can be sleep or just recharging that battery. If you're really exhausted all the time, how can we get you feeling a little bit better that way? Family, friends, and coworkers, those relationships you have around you. Spirit and soul can be religious, can just be grounding yourself in nature, whatever it means to you. And the last one's power of the mind. Being able to relax and heal your body, your mind, everything that you've been through. So all of those different areas are going to look different to each veteran. They're all connected. So if we help in one area, another area may improve as well. And that's the idea, is we look at you as a whole person, and you get to figure out what aspect of you plugs into each one of those areas. Encompassing that, we have conventional healthcare. We are not taking anything away from healthcare you already have. We are just adding complementary approaches to what you do already. So the treatment portion, chiropractic care, massage therapy, acupuncture, or mindfulness class, nutritional classes, movement classes, all these different things that can go into your healthcare so that we can improve you day to day. And surrounding it all is your community, whether it's your care team, the people you served with, your family, your friends, whoever it may be that's going to help support you through this change. So we are here to truly honor you guys and by providing exceptional health care that improves your health and well-being. And again, you get to just decide what you want to see with those improvements, where you want to go from there, which is hard to look at too sometimes. But we really want to know you as a whole person, figure out what matters most to you, why do you want to feel better, to get better, and who you're living for. Yourself, your family, whatever else may be coming on to as well. So the veteran journey. Right now, veterans, we get to be able to see veterans in general, service-connected, non-service connected through the VA. The struggle is TRICARE, CHAMP VA, caregivers, and families. We have not been able to branch out that far yet. But the veteran's journey itself is figuring out where you are at in the moment. So we're going to look at something called a personal health inventory as well to see how we know where you're at and where you want to go. But we want to focus not on just your symptoms, but on you as a whole person. You get to make the health decisions. You get to tell us what matters most. So we figure out what brings you joy and happiness and what you want your health for. That way we keep that motivation, that accountability going. We also ask these things called well-being signs. Figuring out over the past month, on average, how often have you been fully satisfied with how things are going, regularly involved in things that are important to you, and functioning your best within those things that are most important to you. So that we get a baseline. Figuring out how we can make improvements and then checking in to see if we've made those well-being signs a little bit higher. Making sure you're more satisfied with where you're at. You're functioning better with where you want to be. I am going to try and pull up a video and see if we can listen to it. We will see. Can you guys hear that?
No, you have to share, when you go to share your screen, you have to share I think it's share the tab.
Okay. Sorry, I don't do Google Meets very often.
That's why we've got Drew.
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh, goodness, I have too many tabs. That's where we're at. Sorry.
If you can send the link to that video, I can share it.
I think I got it. Oh,
infantry soldier. I had never, to that point, ever even been in a fist fight in my life. To prepare one to be in a position to take or not human life is a very confusing and difficult proposition. For many years after I was released from Vietnam, I wandered about mentally, aimlessly, and suffered from the disease of alcoholism. I was not discussing the ramifications of Vietnam on me physically and especially mentally. I sought this campus, the VA, out for recovery, rehabilitation. I came, I saw, and they conquered. The VA had changed.
We really define patient-centered care as providing the most positive patient experience in a healing environment each and every time we interact with a patient and their family.
To me, it goes back to putting the patient's needs first and also anticipating their needs. Paying attention enough to remember that this is a whole human being in front of you, and really treating them like they were a family member. Or if you were in that bed, how would you want to be treated? If your family member was in that bed, how would you want someone to treat them?
Both feet were suffering tremendously from arthritic conditions that had deteriorated over the years. They wanted to remove my cervical vertebrae, my neck, if you will, and insert a titanium rod. I could not see how that was going to be done without a lifetime of pain pills. However, the VA offered alternatives, which I was willing to try.
A lot of our veterans who are in pain are saying, can you give us acupuncture? Can we do Tai Chi? That's a much more effective approach for me. So it's really coming up with a plan of care that is very personalized, that the patient kind of agrees to, I'm going to be engaged in this. In order to really move forward, there are two things that I think you need to do. One is I think you have to build the change into your structure and make it part of what you do every day.
So between Tai Chi, acupuncture, yoga, ultrasound, and other chiropractic practices, between all of those things, ever since 2009, I have not had to take one prescribed pain pill for any particular reason.
Mr. Sell's story is so touching, and every time I hear it, it brings tears to my eyes because it's so profound that he was lost and came back to the VA. It also reminds me that to keep offering these healing opportunities for patients, it's an opportunity to bring in patients who maybe have not been at the VA for a very long time. So on many levels, it's very inspiring and encouraging and a good reminder to keep going and keep piloting and to keep reaching out, offering healing opportunities.
What the patient remembers most is how they were treated and how we interacted with them. So to me, the absolute building block to patient-centered care is human interactions and relationships. And if you don't have that, I don't care what you have, you're not going to have good patient-centered care.
What has happened to me in the last 4 years has really restored my faith and removed all my skepticism about the military and the U.S. and how we were treated, and I am hoping, praying that other veterans who I know are walking the streets in anguish and also in fear, who are suffering from diseases and ailments that are associated with their involvement in Vietnam, that some way, anything that I can do to reach them, to let them know that the nation has heard, the government has responded, the VA has changed, and the services are here.
thank you guys for watching that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. That was good.
Absolutely. So I know that's about a Vietnam veteran, but every veteran knows what it's like to be in pain. You all know the same, not same experience, but close to it. So it involves every part of you, and we want to try and help you build every part of you as well, rebuild it if we need to. So being open to whole health offerings, doing things like that. I'm going to share one more time to show you. So this is that personal health inventory that I was talking about earlier. For the veterans that are just coming out and they don't know where they're truly at right now, kind of just lost, or if you do know and you still need to make improvements in areas, this is a tool that we use to figure out where you're at right now and where you want to be. So this is a short version. It's just asking you to rate yourself from 1 to 5, where you're at now, where you want to be. And then we have a longer version to discuss and go over, what do you think is going well? How do we make improvements? How do we start? And from there, we can build that plan together with a care team to get you to where you truly want to be. So like I said, what's working? So we are evolving each section of the hospital right now, at least at the Lewis A. Johnson Hospital. We are getting into each different section. We have people in sleep, primary care, we have cardiology, we have pharmacy, we have a little bit of everything, and they're all getting involved in that conversation. What is most important to you in your life right now? Starting that process of that conversation of getting you where you truly want to be. Focusing on self-care. Making sure you're doing things that bring you joy and happiness, because they build up. They kind of recharge you and keep you going a little bit. We're also focusing on preventative care, lowering risk, staying up to date on things that are important, whether it's vaccines for you, medications, making sure you're taking them if you need them, but also getting involved with movement, getting involved in nutrition, things that are going to help your overall health as well. We are growing rapidly. We are running out of space for the little room that we have right now, which Abigail has seen. So we have the availability right now to see about 8 to 10 patients in a group setting, whether it's for movement or nutrition or whatever it may be. What we really need is an area of about 25, 30, that space for that many, because we're growing so quickly, which is a great thing. We just need the space for it. We offer virtual and in-person offerings so that we can reach all of those veterans that either can't come into the hospital, don't have transportation, or they just don't like being in a group physically with others. They can do it remotely at their house too and still feel included. We are continuing to add services and partnerships. So we at the Clarksburg VA just got a memorandum of understanding or a partnership with our Department of Agriculture in West Virginia. So we just started a beekeeping class. Next year, we're going to have another session of beekeeping. We're going to have some therapeutic horsemanship, working with horses for mental health, and the list just goes on and on. We may have some healthy teaching kitchens or canning or anything like that, and we want to just keep growing and giving veterans opportunities to grow themselves as well. And public relations and outreach. So things like this. We are trying to get involved in as many things as we can so we can let all the veterans know that we are here. There are other opportunities for self-growth, things that aren't medication only. So we're part of that suicide prevention as well, making sure people are getting what they need, feeling better about themselves, and doing what they need to. Barriers. Time to listen and be present. And what I mean by that is primary care. Them having more than 30 minutes with you to get through all of their checklist and discuss. So it is a work in progress. We started off with talking and getting the nurses to start asking questions so that the doctors can see that, have that discussion with you. Still a growing piece. We're working on it. Connection in all sections of the hospital. There's still a couple that we haven't made it to yet. But again, we're growing. It's growing pains. We're getting there. Like I said, too much growth for our space. And then time offerings through the VA. A lot of our offerings are from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., which does not fit the working veteran. But we do have online resources that you guys can go to and pull in and get involved. And lastly, the CHAMP VA, TRICARE family members or caregivers. That's our struggle right now because it's not covered with their health care. So I can send this PowerPoint to you guys so you can disperse it as well, at least these offerings, because there's online videos that you can try. There is a yoga app or website you can log on to and try sign up for different hours of the day to try different kinds of yoga. And then there's mobile apps and tools as well. At Clarksburg, this is our weekly schedule though. So every week, these scheduled times, these are the classes. So the things that say VVC is virtual and live is in person. So lots of things for movement, whether it's yoga, qigong, tai chi, walking class, a little bit of move techniques, that kind of stuff. Nutrition is also our move group. We have battlefield acupuncture, which is those 5 points in the ear to help take some pain away, which does wonders. Tobacco sensation, stress reduction techniques, and biofeedback. So we hit a lot of those different areas along with that whole health wheel. And again, we're constantly growing and figuring out what's going to work best for you guys and how we can implement that. Our backside of our schedule is our providers. So what I do is whole health coaching. There are 4 of us at Clarksburg that work with figuring out a plan for you as a whole person. We work with you on developing the best plan for you, working on accountability, working through barriers that may come up, and getting you to where you truly want to be. Because it's a lot to do just on yourself sometimes. We also have a holistic medicine doctor. She does acupuncture, manipulations. She looks at nutritional like supplements and stuff like that. We have another full body acupuncturist, 2 chiropractors, a medical massage therapist, and we have battlefield acupuncture, which is that BFA on there as well. Lots of different offerings for those things, especially for pain relief, because most veterans have pain. It's a big thing. But yeah, that is all I wanted to show you guys today, but I do want to open it up for questions as well.
Hello. Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Mhm.
Hi, this is Angela. So one of the questions that I have is that I'm a veteran, but I got out of the Marine Corps really long time ago. And when I got out, this type of everything we're talking about today was not popular, and it was almost frowned upon. If that sounds silly, it was true. My husband and I were both in the Marines in the 90s, and I am just now trying to get acclimated to the potential situation of filing a claim, and I guess I'm kind of interested in, I don't know, help me out, Abby. I've talked to you about it before, but I'm interested in how difficult this process is to become, to file a claim and or receive care, and then also health care for the rest of my life.
So filing the claim, you technically do not have to do that to be part of whole health at the VA. All you have to do is be enrolled with the VA, and you are eligible for our services. You don't have to be service connected of any kind. It is open and it's a free resource to go along with your health care.
And that's not just at y'all's location. That's at all VA hospital locations.
It should be at every VA hospital location.
Okay, thank you.
And what they offer is going to change as well. And it's going to depend on if you're at a community-based office versus the main hospital. But whole health should be offered to you either way.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I just got a couple, going back, and apologize. I'm going to go all the way back, even to like the first slide. I really like the framework you guys had where the veteran is the center and talking about mindfulness. And I think you said being present, right? So one of the things that we talk about, and I like that this is VA based and it's for veterans after transition, right? But one of the things that I talked about before this was like part of this program is to help people deal with it on the other side too, just going through the transition. And I think that idea of being present, understanding like what's happening now, because in that transition process, you can have so many things going on. You're like, what's my next job going to be? How do I continue to perform in the job that I'm in? Because all of us as Marines, we're going to work 100% to the last day, no matter how many people tell us it's okay to drop your pack. It's okay to focus on yourself. Then you're going to be worried about all this. So you're worried about your next career. You're worried about your family. Where am I going to live? Where am I going to go? And it's like, how do you stay present and how do you focus on what's the most important part of that whole transition? It's you, right? Like no matter what job you get, no matter how well you perform in your current job, no matter how you navigate the VA and insurance and all that, the most important part is
I can't hear anything that's going on.
Angela, you got to open mic still. So anyways, the point I'm getting to is like, this is great. And after getting out, like we all need this resource. But I want everybody on the call to keep in mind too, like having just understanding that model you had with the center and the eight and then the community, because the other thing was like, when you mentioned community, that's what this is for, right? This becomes part of that community. So not only after you transition, but while you're transitioning, that community is incredibly important. Like, who can I go talk to about some of this stuff and just say like, I'm feeling overwhelmed with all this, right? So that one really, hit home for me, Marissa. I really like that first slide and some of the content on there. So I don't know if you have any like comments or feedback. I know you probably, it's like, hey, this is VA, so it's after you've separated, but while you're in the separation process, what do we do then?
That's a good question. So, and I know that transition, they really don't give you much information on this stuff at all. So I will post them in the chat, the free offerings. So at any point in time, there is a Live Whole Health app. There's a mindfulness app that it's free to you guys. There's so many different tools that you guys can use at any point in time in service, during the transition, after. All of these things. So, and the mindfulness, the staying present on purpose, that works with your parasympathetic system, that fight or flight. That's why we try and work on it and try and keep you in the present moment so you can do that and get through all of those different tasks that you guys are going through. So I'm definitely going to post all of that in there. I would love to say, yeah, I can talk to all these people that are getting right out. It took me 8 months just to get a paper signed for the partnership with the Department of Agriculture.
We understand.
I know. I know you do. I would love to make it easier on you guys, but just the free offerings are going to be the best thing. And if you guys can, by word of mouth or just show other people these are offerings for you, that's the best way to get it from you guys too. If you guys believe in it, other veterans are going to believe in it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And please share those resources. We'd love to get the slides you shared because we'll add it to our community page. We've got a repository of information and documents, and we're trying to make that available to as many people as possible. And, both ways, the stuff that you've got. And if you've got free resources, that's more than enough. Obviously, you can't talk to that many people, but if you're providing us with a couple links, a couple resources, that's incredibly helpful because people will come and access it and it'll benefit them. So that's great. And Drew, we've got a place to kind of put all that information, right? So.
Correct.
All right, cool.
Do you want me to email it to you or put it in this chat?
What do you think's the best, Drew?
If you can email it over, we'll get it up there.
Yeah. If you email it to Abigail, she can get it to the right people on the team, or if you have yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll keep going. Like I did have a couple other things that really sparked my interest. Because the other thing was, I don't remember which slide it was, but it was the veteran's journey, and it was really reflecting on like, you know, the veteran is the center, and what makes you happy, and what do you want out of life, and who are you working for, and who are you waking up for every day? And I think that's a really critical question. We've talked about that on several of these calls, because one of the most common themes that comes up on these calls is identity, right? Like we've been told, and it's much deeper than this, but I'm going to kind of like generalize, like we've been told what we're working for and what's important to us. For some of us, for 20 years, it's the Marine Corps, right? God, country, Corps, you know, a lot of different, and obviously families in there for all of us. You know, those of us that have families, we always prioritize family over the Corps and everything. But the point, like, right, you get to that and you're like, sometimes I joke all the time, you know, about scheduling a medical appointment or a dental appointment or getting a haircut. It's like, I've been told to do all these things for so long. And like, when you ask, like, what makes you happy after the Marine, I'm like, I mean, a lot of us do have hobbies and things, and we know what we want to do, but a lot of veterans go through that transition period of discovery. And it's like, I think that's a great questionnaire and a great road to go down, because for so many of us, it's like, well, what is next? Do I want to go GovCon? Do I want to go civilian? You know, just focus on career. And then after that, like, we've had a Marine that comes on here quite often, and he took like a 6-month sabbatical just to answer like those questions. And others of us have started working the day we retired and just like dove into it. So, yeah, I really like that aspect of it. I think it's a really great question, because I think for a lot of us, we couldn't answer those questions when we're in the transition process and we're first coming out of the process. I don't know if anybody else has a similar thought or similar story to share there, but, you know, I thought that was a critical piece of it. Like, if the veteran is the center of it, but the veteran doesn't really know how to answer those questions, there's going to have to be some resources and some coaching. And it seemed like you had some good tools to help us answer those questions.
Yeah, and honestly, it happens a lot that veterans don't know what they want. They don't know where they're at because it's fresh. And even I've had a couple veterans that just got out, started the transition into the VA, and are getting hit with all of these different appointments. And even that's overwhelming too. So it's important to figure out where you're at. If you don't know, it's working with either your family, a whole health coach, your care team, someone you trust, buddy, friend, whatever it may be, and just having those real open discussions too. Because it is a discovery and it's hard.
Yeah, and I think it ties into another theme that you had in there too, where it's like treating the individual versus treating symptoms, right? And if an individual doesn't understand their own body, right, and it's just like, man, I'm in a lot of pain, I've got headaches, I can't sleep, and you don't know why. Maybe part of it is you haven't had the time to answer this, right? Like, so like, you know, treating the person and not treating the symptoms and staying away from the prescription and the pharmaceuticals, right? Like, that's a quick fix. It's like, oh, I've got a headache, I take something to make it go away. But understanding, why do I have a headache? Am I dehydrated? Am I stressed? Am I overwhelmed? So all that, like, these themes, obviously they build on each other. You guys have a well thought out, well developed program, but I'm seeing the connection there and tying it to the veteran process, because it's like, man, a lot of that pain is going back to that question of, well, what's my purpose and how am I fulfilling myself every day? So I really liked the sequencing and the building block approach there to start with the individual, understand yourself, right? And then the team that you have understanding that individual and finding the right treatment approach that focuses on root cause, right?
Yeah, and I want to point out, like, we start with where you're at right now so that we don't even have to think about 3-6 months from now. We got to figure out that component first before we even consider down the road too. So taking that time for yourself. Yeah, it's a big thing. Yeah,
and so the problems or the barriers that you mentioned, the consistent themes there were really time and space, right? Time related to 2 of the bullets, space related to 2 of the bullets. What what do you guys see as a potential resolution? I mean, the political climate right now isn't huge as far as resourcing a lot of these peripheral programs. I hate to call it that. Please don't take that wrong, but you know what I mean? It's just like the current administration, the current political climate doesn't look like you're going to get a lot of new space or a lot of new people or resources, right? We're feeling that pain in our growth pattern right now, you know, just because resources aren't flowing. So do you guys, you know, how do you foresee the future of like mitigating and overcoming those barriers?
That's a good question. We've talked about it. We would love to just go out and be able to rent an old hospital that's local, or just get our own space, our own community building. So we have all of our providers together. We have space to do groups. We've talked about those things, but again, financially, it's not going to happen right now. The growth of the whole health program, it's really grown over the past 5 years. So we are being expanded so quickly that a lot of different areas can't keep up, which is a great problem to have, but we have to be able to fix it somehow. Which chiropractic care, massage therapy, acupuncture, that stuff we are able to source out if needed to community, but not our wellness classes. So that's why we push for that virtual option as well, because there's no limit there. If we can have 8 in person, we can have 25 over video.
Yeah, and you know, like you kind of said too, like, hey, if we can help get the word out and other resources, I think that's important too, right? Because demand signal helps, you know, increase your probability of resources, right? Like Angela said, you know, many years ago, like these alternative whole health approaches weren't even thought of or weren't even practiced. So I think you guys are on the right path, and I think, you know, it's awesome, and you know, we'll continue to spread the word and build that demand signal, because you got to prove that it's needed, right, to compete with resources with other programs. And so, you know, it gets me excited. I have, you know, personal story as well. You know, my wife was diagnosed with MS a couple years ago, and she took a holistic approach, didn't focus on the symptoms and the pharmaceutical resolutions, and she's been able to manage that with like a holistic health approach. And it's a different example, but it's really exciting in this. A lot of the things that you talked about are things that we've learned in our own journey to, so I mean, I can say a different example, but I'm a big advocate and a big, you know, believer to say, like, case study, like this stuff it works, and it's a healthier and more rewarding approach. So yeah, anybody go ahead.
We're on the top 5 of the national list of priorities. So even during this whole transition of, we weren't sure if we'd have jobs, we were kind of set. We're going to stay here. We're going to keep growing, and we're just going to keep offering more things for you guys.
No, yeah, I think it's great, and I hope you guys get to continue to build momentum and continue to grow. And I'm excited to be able to share some of this and build more awareness. You know, like Angela gave one example, and you know, even for me, I retired 2 years ago, and haven't fully tapped into my local VA, because I have one of those. I started working the day after I got done, and I've just been relying on TRICARE right now, and you know, my family going down that road. But you know, it's exciting to know that the VA has this to offer. So anybody else, you know, want to ask any questions or have anything to contribute? I don't want to steal all the mic time. Go ahead, Joanna. Yeah.
Can you hear me okay? Okay. So hey, Marissa, it's nice to meet you. I'm actually a functional nutrition coach. I have a private practice, so I am totally on board with obviously all the modalities that you use. What I was curious about though is, do you get like resistance from the veterans when you ask them to like start filling out their forms? Like, I'm just wondering, like, if it's hard for them to kind of self-reflect on answering those questions.
Yes, there is. And a lot of it is, if you have never tried it, why not try it? It's trying to get that buy-in in whatever way we can. And if it's starting with a class that they want to be involved in first, that's a good way to start, because we're still going to get the word out. Why are you doing this? How are you feeling? Is it improving your health? those kind of things. So we can still measure it a little bit, but eventually we try and get everyone to do a personal health inventory. If they don't do it with us, we're going to send it home. You're going to see it. Hopefully they read it. If they throw it out, they do. But again, we're going to keep asking, and that's part of, it's in all of our nursing notes now. So they're going to keep asking and having that conversation. So eventually we wear them down. I guess I'll figure out what whole health is. It's one of those things. Sometimes we have to do that, and we just keep pushing forward. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. I really am happy to hear that the VA is kind of getting on board with all this stuff, because, you know, obviously sometimes just loading people up with pharmaceuticals is not a great option. So I'm happy to hear this. Thanks for sharing, Marissa.
Thank you.
Any other save rounds, alibis, or questions for Marissa? All right. Well, Marissa, I just want to say thank you again. It was great information, and we're really excited to get the slides and those other resources over. We will get them up. We'll keep you posted for when the video goes up and when we get stuff on the website. And then we'll also reach out if the Discord, generates any communication. Our distribution list is pretty big, and we know that a lot of people do go back and watch the videos later on. It's just a really challenging time on a Thursday evening to get a big audience on here, but we do know that the resources are used throughout time. And I think these types of sessions, like we had last month with Joanna and this month with you, as people review those, the word will spread and we'll continue to grow our audience. And we'd love to have you back, in a few months we get on the next rotation, and to be able to continue to spread the word, because I do think it's a great resource that you guys are offering. And I was excited to hear, with Angela's question, when you said, yeah, this is available. It should be available at all VA hospitals, and that it's not required to have a service connected disability, that as long as you're registered with the VA, you can get this benefit. So that's great to hear. I'll open the floor. Well, Marissa, do you have any closing comments or anything else for the group?
I just appreciate you guys being open to it and letting me come on and talk about whole health. It is something I'm passionate about. So just thank you. Thank you guys for your service, truly. And I hope that some of this can help you guys, whatever way you need it.
Yeah, thanks. I know that'll be helpful to some of the veterans out there and some of those soon-to-be veterans that are in our transition network and pipeline. So we usually stick around for a few more minutes. I'll open the floor to open discussion, see if anybody has any topics or other questions, and then we just kind of shoot the breeze for a little bit. So Marissa, you're free to hang out, drop off, and that goes to everybody. We'll leave the line open here for a few more minutes and close out. Just want to say thank you one more time to the team that helps put this together. Abigail, thanks for making the connection. Drew and Abigail and Angela, thanks for working together to keep this up and running and facilitate everything. And thank you to those that joined, especially those outside of the IDB team, Micah, Lance, Charmaine, Joanna. We appreciate you guys hopping on here and being a part of this. So open floor. Anybody who wants to bring anything up, start a discussion, please do so. I'm going to hang out for a couple more minutes, and I've got some teenagers over at the local fair that are texting me for a ride here. So I'm gonna head out. Me and Homer are gonna hop out of here. So I was telling Marissa before everybody hopped on, I'm dog sitting for my daughter Gia's little baby here, Homer. So
that makes him your grand pup?
Yes, that's what I refer to him as. This is my grand pup. Yep. He is very high maintenance, by the way. We're probably worse than Mac, Angela. I don't know if Angela's still on. But we get a lot of our IDP work calls and always hear Mac in the background whining at Angela. So it's always fun.
How old is your grandpup?
He's like 10. So he's a rescue, but yeah, he's like 10.
Oh.
Yep.
He's really cute.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Well, I was just going to share on a completely separate topic that Charmaine and I actually connected after the call last month, and we've been chatting ever since, and we're talking about collaboration opportunities. And so I just wanted to share, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this, because I just am so grateful to have met Charmaine, and we chat like once a week now, and we just bounce business ideas off each other, and she's shared a ton of resources with me. And so I just wanted to say thank you, because I'm just grateful to be a part of this community. So Marissa, I'd love to connect with you too. So if you're on LinkedIn, let me know, and I'd love to connect.
I am. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will do.
Yeah, Charmaine mentioned that to me earlier in the week, so I was super excited to hear that, and that's just super rewarding, and I love to hear that, because that's what this is about, and a great network of individuals helping each other out. So I'm glad that you guys have that common wellness bond, and you guys are bouncing ideas off each other, because that just makes more powerful resources for you two to come back and help the network. So I love hearing that. So glad the connection was made.
I just want to say thank you, Marissa, for coming on and giving me a wonderful presentation. And then also I wanted to say, I was ecstatic to hear that Joanna and Charmaine clicked like that. I mean, that was kind of the goal here, was to bring everybody together and help each other out in a way, But I'm also very grateful to be able to bring speakers on and have my aunt come on and have amazing people like Marissa, and then we're having Charmaine next month. So this is a great time to, be doing stuff like this, and veterans helping veterans.
Yeah, it is great. And thanks, Abigail. Appreciate the work that you're doing behind the scenes. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody hopping on. Those of you that are further out west, enjoy the rest of your afternoon, early evening. Those of us far east, it's approaching 9:00 p.m. So thanks for carving out a part of your evening or afternoon to share some time with us. Look for the LinkedIn post, look for the YouTube video and updates, and then we will keep the network informed if any conversation or additional questions come up. So thanks again, everybody. Have a great night out here.